Good morning, good morning. This is Monty once again. It's almost afternoon, come to think of it. But it looks like it's nice. It looks like it's going to be very nice and kind of warm, actually. I just finished wiping down my car and reviewing today's topic, and it looks like it's going to be a very interesting one. This particular story or article focuses on why social media is a very, very useful tool and should be used as such. A lot of people are posting, including myself. I have to admit I'm guilty also of posting what I call cutesy pictures and different things on the social media sites. Things that just have to do with trivial things, more or less. This particular meal, a dinner or breakfast or something, and how it looks and how delicious it looks, or even pictures of us just posing, basically, like models almost, trying to get the most glamorous headshot or something. These things are all fine and dandy, but every once in a while, I want you guys to challenge yourself. Try and figure out whether or not you can go a little bit beyond the cutesy pictures and posts, and take a look at whether or not you have a responsibility to affect the world in a positive way. And what I mean by that is, if there's a cause, if there's a dilemma that children are facing, if there's an environmental issue, if there's some sort of social impact situation going on where you may be able to make a difference, then I think we have almost an obligation. Well, I know we have an obligation to put that online, talk about the plight of the animals, talk about the plight of humans in other parts of the world who are being taken advantage of, whose lives are devastated by certain things that are going on that are a little bit beyond their control. And those of us in first world countries, hopefully we can do a little bit more with social media and the YouTubes and the Twitters and all these different things that we have access to, the podcasts and all these things. We have high-speed internet, we have nice phones and gadgets and, laptops and iPads. And so, every once in a while, challenge yourself, take up a cause, create a petition, sign a petition, do something that's going to hopefully leave a little bit of a longer-term impact on the world, so that after I'm gone, after you're gone, hopefully we can have other people be able to benefit a little bit more in terms of something that we did today, other than the cutesy photos and pictures. So anyway, I just wanted to make that statement. Now, who am I? I'm owner of DPO Surveillance Equipment. I run a full-service surveillance and security equipment company, and we have, excuse the noise, I'm always cleaning up and multitasking and everything. But I run a full-service surveillance and security equipment company. I have lifetime guarantees and warranties on all the products. We have 24/7, 365 tech sales and customer support. And we sponsor, so to speak, these articles, these podcasts, these blogs about certain topics. Topics may include health and fitness. Topics may include cybersecurity, economics and finance. I think I said health and fitness, you name it. There's various things that we are taking responsibility for, trying to get the word out, trying to get people's knowledge and education up to higher levels, hopefully, by posting certain things. Go to the website, click on articles, click on the video library, click on the blogs, and read about these topics, read about the causes, look at a petition if we have a petition that we're promoting, like the one where there's child labor, massive child labor going on in the Congo, where children are being exploited to use their bare hands to dig out cobalt, something we all use in the batteries in the phones, the smartphones and the laptops and the electric cars. Volkswagen, Apple, Samsung, Tesla, all these guys use batteries, and we all take advantage of the batteries when we are powering our favorite nice, bright, shiny gadgets. So let's think about again whether or not we're being responsible, whether or not we're being aware of whether or not we're contributing to problems or not. Let's get away from the MasterCards and the Visas and American Express. The financial industry, as I told you guys a million times, and I'll say it a million times more, is an unnecessary evil. Unnecessary evil. They're rent seekers. RENT dash seekers, or just rent seekers. They want to get in the middle of every transaction, of every situation, and they provide a convoluted bureaucratic mess of additional costs and overhead. You know, who they require we reveal who we are, what we're doing, what we're buying, what we're selling. You can't send no more than $10,000 to me, otherwise you got to report it. You can't send money out of the country to certain countries, rather, without identifying who it is, what they're going to use the money for, blah, blah, blah. These restrictions we don't need. We're all adults. We all can make these decisions on our own. And we don't need to be told how to spend the money that you've earned, spend so much time earning, and how to use that money, and who can receive it, and who can get it, and who can't. That's not how the wealthy people handle their business. So why should the working people be treated any differently? Let's get into today's topic. I have a whole lot of time. Comprehensive topic. I don't even know how much of it I can complete before I run out of time. But anyway, the remainder of the full context of the article will be on the website, and you can check it out. But I think it's a very, very interesting cause. The name of the article is Project to Clean World's Ocean of Plastic Officially Launches. Again, Project to Clean World's Ocean of Plastics officially launches. Over 5 trillion pieces of plastic currently litter the ocean. Trash accumulates in 5 ocean garbage patches, the largest one being the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, located between Hawaii and California. If left to circulate, the plastic will impact our ecosystems, health, and economies. Solving it requires a combination of closing the source and cleaning up what has already accumulated in the ocean. Technology. Under technology, the Ocean Cleanup. This is the name of the organization, you guys. The project itself is called the Ocean Cleanup. The Ocean Cleanup develops advanced technologies to rid the world's oceans of plastic. A full-scale deployment of our systems is estimated to clean up 50% of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch in 5 years. Again, their goal is to clean 50% of the world's oceans in 5 years. Ocean garbage patches are vast and dispersed. Ocean currents concentrate plastic in 5 areas in the world. The subtropical gyres, also known as the world's ocean garbage patches. Once in these patches, the plastic will not go away by itself. The challenge of cleaning up the gyres is the plastic pollution spreads across millions of square kilometers and travels in all directions. Covering this area using vessels and nets would take thousands of years and cost billions of dollars to complete. How can we use these ocean currents to our advantage? Autonomous. Algorithms help specify the optimal deployment locations, after which the systems roam the gyres autonomously. Real-time telemetry will allow us to monitor the condition, performance, and trajectory of each system. Energy neutral. Our systems fully rely on the natural ocean currents and do not require an external energy source to capture and concentrate the plastics. All electronics used, such as lights and AI or artificial intelligence, will be powered by solar energy, scalable. By gradually adding systems to the gyre, we mitigate the need for full financing up front. This gradual scale up also allows us to learn from the field and continuously improve the technology along the way. The impact of cleanup. Our models indicate that a full-scale system rollout could clean up 50% of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch in 5 years. Research shows the majority of plastic by mass is currently in the larger debris. By removing the plastic, while most of it is still large, we prevent it from breaking down into dangerous microplastics. Combining the cleanup with source reduction on land paves the road towards a plastics-free ocean by 2050. From concept to reality. Recent milestones on the path to the cleanup. Milestones. By systematically eliminating technical risk through rapid iterations, we aim to begin the cleanup in 2018 and reach full-scale deployment in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch by 2020. Road to cleanup. Road to cleanup. 2018 startup. Start Pacific cleanup. The future. 2020 global scale. 2020 global scale up rather. On September 8th, the Ocean Cleanup will attempt to launch its first cleanup system inside the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Follow the journey as we finalize engineering and procurement and testing system components in the months leading up to the deployment. On September 8th, the Ocean Cleanup launched the first of many massive plastic cleaning arrays into the Pacific Ocean. There's a lot of plastic in the world's oceans, with most of it congregating in places like the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Dutch innovator Boyan Slat, he spells his name Boyan, and then last name is Slat, S-L-A-T, came up with the idea for these systems, which he hopes can scoop plastic out of the water. But there are big questions, including whether the systems will survive the ocean's forces, harm marine life, and collect plastic. This is the first time the systems are really being put to the test. If they work, they could be part of a solution to a massive problem. It was 11 p.m. on Boyan Slat's birthday when he realized he had a problem. We were having this barbecue at the office, he told Business Insider. Because of that, most of Slat's team was still available when the call came in. There was an urgent structural problem with the giant plastic cleaning device that the team had been working on. Slat, who turned 24 on July 27th, is the creator of the Ocean Cleanup, an organization attempting to remove plastic from some of the most trash-filled areas of the ocean, starting with a region so full of debris that it's referred to as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Slat and his team of scientists and engineers have designed and redesigned massive floating cleaning arrays that will theoretically help trap plastic debris floating near the surface. With the launch of the first 2,000-foot array scheduled for September 8th, the ocean cleanup test was just over a month away, but the call that came in on the night of July 27th meant that a serious issue had to be quickly solved. The plastic cleaning system is made of sections of large, durable, floating plastic pipe with a 10-foot barrier underneath it to trap debris. To stop that system from rolling, especially when facing intense seas like those in the Pacific, steel stabilizers had been added to the design. 1 second. Get a little bit of noise from the planes overhead. While working on assembly, the team realized these stabilizers were crushing the rubber components that helped hold everything together. Over the next 5 days, the team adjusted their design at the shipyard in Alameda, California, where the cleanup array was being built. The actual assembly wasn't finished until a week before the launch. Then under the bright sun on September 8th, a supply ship, an offshore tug called the Maersk launcher, towed the cleanup system out under the Golden Gate Bridge towards the Pacific. A first test with serious implications, Slat's system will soon face its true test, seeing whether it can maintain structural and stability while still moving in the open sea. But removing ocean plastic is a complex enough problem that scientists question whether or not it is possible to do efficiently or safely at all. The stakes are high. There's a mind-boggling amount of plastic in the world's oceans. So far, no one knows if the ocean cleanup array will effectively capture much plastic. And if something goes wrong, the floating array could cause harm. Some scientists fear that it is a large floating structure. As a large floating structure, it will attract marine life that could then ingest plastic or be caught up in the mess. Some fear it could also be broken up by a storm, and contribute to the problem. Perhaps the biggest question, if it does work, can it collect the massive amounts of plastic necessary to make a dent in the ocean plastic problem? It's in the water. Will it work? On September 8th, SLAC's organization began the journey out to sea with its first official 2,000-foot-long plastic cleaning array, System 101, named Wilson, after Tom Hanks' volleyball friend in the movie Castaway. The Maersk launcher's first stop for the system is a testing site about 240 miles offshore. The ocean cleanup crew traveling with the array plans to spend 2 weeks there. In order to collect plastic, the long tube system will be put into a U-shape that will theoretically be able to move faster than drifting plastic, catching large quantities inside the U. At the testing area, the team will pull the system into the U-shape for the first time to see if it can maintain structural integrity. Watch how it moves and see if it can turn in case the ocean spins at a different direction. If all goes well, the system, which will face storms and waves that can regularly top 40 feet, will be dragged another 1,200 nautical miles to the garbage patch. Once at the patch, Slat and colleagues hope the system can clean up to 50 metric tons of plastic in its first year, a little more than 3 garbage trucks full. Over the past several years, the cleanup group has redesigned the contraption several times. In the current system, a tapered wall that reaches 10 feet down at the middle is supposed to help corral plastic until a boat can pick it up every 6 weeks to a couple of months. I'm confident that we've been able to eliminate all the risks that we can eliminate before actually launching the system, Slat said. A mind-boggling problem. We don't have a perfect picture of how much plastic is in the ocean or how much pours into it every year. We do know it's a stunning quantity. A lot of garbage washes back to shore, as beachgoers and viewers of certain viral videos noticed earlier this summer, but a good amount of plastic eventually drifts into one of 5 massive ocean regions called gyres. Enough plastic converges in these regions that many refer to them as garbage patches. The area targeted by the ocean cleanup is called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It's the best known of these regions and is often referred to as the largest gyre, though the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says there's no reliable measurement of the size of any of these patches. More than 320 million metric tons of plastic are produced every year. Our current estimates are that at least 8 million metric tons of plastic get into the ocean every year, which is the equivalent of one city garbage truck of plastic getting dumped into the ocean every minute, says Emily Waglam, the Vice President for Conservation Policy and Programs at the Ocean Conservancy. That's a low estimate because it counts only waste from the shore and not items like fishing nets discarded at sea. The ocean cleanup researchers have studied the garbage patch and estimated that there are at least 1.8 million pieces of plastic in the region, weighing 79,000 metric tons, according to the group's research. 1.7 trillion pieces are tiny microplastics, but more than 90% of the overall plastic mass comes from larger pieces of plastic, frequently from lost fishing nets that is yet to break down into smaller pieces. All this plastic affects at least 800 marine species, according to Waglam. It gets into the food chain, strangles animals like turtles and seals, is eaten by whales and albatross that starve with stomachs full of indigestible trash and breaks down into tiny pieces that are devoured by fish. Ocean fish that humans eat have plastic in them, yet there is still debate about where exactly the plastic is. Some scientists believe most of it is already broken down and distributed throughout the ocean for it to be worth skimming what's accessible at the surface, as the ocean cleanup is attempting. Eben Swartz, Marine Debris Program Manager for the California Coastal Commission, told National Geographic that only about 3% of what enters the ocean is eventually found on the surface of the gyres. Slatt points out that the ocean cleanup research expedition found most plastic in the gyres to be close to the surface. Some plastics are more likely to sink from the start, but that's not what the cleanup arrays are focused on. Once it's out there, it doesn't go away by itself, Slatt said. It has to be cleaned up, and it gets more harmful over time since it does continue to break down into smaller plastics. Eventually, the expedition may reveal more about where plastic does settle in the ocean, said Lauren Leberton, lead oceanographer with the ocean cleanup. In an upcoming mission, the team plans to sample water down to the seabed, both to figure out where in the water column plastics is most common and where it comes from. Some scientists are skeptical, while Slatt's plan is widely considered inspiring. Check out the comments on any story about the project. A number of scientists have raised questions about the initiative. Some of these questions are the same ones posed by Slatt and his colleagues, including whether the system can collect plastic and survive the forces of the ocean. As a large plastic structure itself, it could get broken up and become a lot more ocean plastic debris. Oceanographer Kara Lavender Law at the Sea Education Association told Wired. Plus, it could gradually shed more plastic particles into the ocean over time, she said. A survey of 15 experts in ocean plastic pollution found that many were concerned the system would attract and kill marine life, even though the cleanup has tweaked its designs to help deal with these problems. It's just a solid wall corralling plastics now, not any sort of net that could entangle animals. Animals will still be drawn to a floating mass and may end up entangled in the debris. The ocean cleanup has conducted an environmental impact assessment, responded to concerns, and made changes to the system. The group has also said it's willing to redesign the system as needed. As with any novel technology, success is not guaranteed, but this is exactly why we test, and test again until the final risks and uncertainties have been mitigated. System 101 is still labeled a beta system or a representative for the group, told Business Insider. I do think as the cleanup goes forward, we need to make sure that there's close monitoring and that the cleanup folks are transparent about the effectiveness as well as any unintended impacts on marine species or navigation, said Woglum of the Ocean Conservancy. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out. Stopping plastics from entering the ocean is still the key, even if the ocean cleanup system works and can stand the forces of the sea, scaling it up to the point that it can remove a significant proportion of plastic will be a massive challenge. The cleanup estimates that a full deployment of 60 systems, some larger than the first one, could remove 50% of plastic currently in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch within 5 years. That depends on everything working perfectly and on continuous funding, two things that are far from guaranteed. And of course, more plastic continues to flow into the water as time goes on. Designing and building the first system costs about $23 million, though Slatt estimates future systems could be built for under $6 million. The ocean cleanup plans to make and sell products out of the collected ocean plastic in order to raise money, and the group hopes companies and charities fund and create their own future cleanup arrays. So far, the project's funding has almost exclusively come from individuals like big donors like Salesforce founder Mark Benioff and entrepreneur Peter Thiel. If we have all the money in the world, that's fantastic. Let's do it. But I'm encouraged that this is not the only solution being pursued, said Woglum. Other existing efforts focus more on stopping plastic from flowing into the ocean altogether. The Ocean Conservancy organizes an annual volunteer effort to pick up trash from beaches. The next one is September 15th. In 2017, volunteers collected 9,000 tons of trash. It would take a lot of cleanup arrays to gather a similar quantity. Some groups also collect garbage at waterways. Baltimore has trash collecting water wheels that have trapped more than 900 tons of trash in the inner harbor since May 2014. Slatt knows that cleaning up the garbage patch is not the only solution to our plastic problem. He also thinks that stopping plastic from getting to the gyres in the first place will require big technological leaps forward. Right now, Slatt believes we have a chance to take a shot at plastic in the garbage patch itself, something that no one else is trying. If we do fail, I think there would be a risk that a giant cleanup would not happen for a very long time, he said. Everybody wants there to be one simple thing we can do, and then everybody fights about whether or not their thing is the thing, said Woglam. And the truth is that just like climate and just like any global environmental challenge, we're going to have to work across a range of strategies. So that's it for the article, you guys. Just make sure you understand sometimes we need to take it upon ourselves to use this technology, use podcasts, use blogs, use the ability to post to Facebook and Twitter and all these pages, all these social media networks and all these technologies to actually make a difference. All of the cutesy pictures and poses, showing the world where we are, what we're eating, what we're wearing. All of that is cute and it's fine and dandy. But let's remember, never in history have we been able to reach so many people with these causes. Just like this 24-year-old Boyan Slat, he's making an impact. He's making a big difference. Generations and future generations to come hopefully will benefit from at least being inspired. Even if it's not totally successful, people are being indeed inspired. That's what we want to do. Try and make a difference on the planet while we still have time. So anyway, we're going to wrap up this session, and as I like to say at the conclusion of every podcast, keep your eyes and ears open and stay safe out there. We'll talk to you later. Bye.